I don't know where you've been, but you're going to respect this courtroom. My life has proven that it's not about where you come from, it's about where you're going. From a jailed youth who had my record expunged to becoming the youngest judge elected.
The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding.
In just 15 years. Ma'am, let me know when you want to go to rehab. Otherwise, I think you're a crackhead.
Absolutely not.
My goal is to inspire others to overcome their obstacles. You don't need him and his little raggedy roommate.
Thank you.
All while having a little fun on Mathis Court. You look like you're ready to lie right the first word out your mouth. This is Mathis Court with Judge Mathis.
Eboni Gathers is suing Ed Lewers in the amount of $2,000.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may be seated.
Ms. Gathers claims her landlord's behavior made her uneasy and says she had no choice but to break her lease. Mr. Lewers is countersuing for $1,200.
State your name.
Hi, I'm Eboni Gathers.
Sir?
Andrew Lewers.
Okay, and ma'am, you're suing the defendant for $2,000, alleging he owes you this money for forcing you to move.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you're countersuing for $1,200, alleging she broke the terms of her lease.
That's correct.
Start with you.
Okay, well, yes, I am suing my landlord for $2,000, and I'd like a termination of the $600 termination fee, mostly because I felt as if my presence was not welcomed on the property.
When did you move in?
I moved in about, right now it's been about 6 months. I've been out for a while. I only got to stay there for about 2 weeks. There was a lot that happened in that span of time.
Was it a lease of a year lease or?
Yes.
You
Yes,
signed one? Mm-hmm. You have the lease?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, let's see it, please, Amir. First, tell me about obtaining the lease. You visited first and saw what you liked and everything was fine?
Yes, everything was great at first. I moved in with my grandmother and my 6-year-old son. I had my cousin come and help me move as well, and my girlfriend. But yeah, like I said, everything was great at first until it was made clear to my landlord that he didn't know that I had a girlfriend at the time. But once that came up, that's when the change in I guess behavior and the way that he approached me shifted.
In what way?
I felt as if that he was paying extra attention to me. Whenever I'd go outside, he would just kind of be lurking around.
After learning of your?
Yes, after
learning. When you
learning
say girlfriend, you mean partner, like romantic partner?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so that doesn't quite make sense. Unless he wanted to be a part of the situation. Okay, because if you by yourself and he's not looking at you much, but it steps up when he finds out you have a same-sex girlfriend.
Yeah. Yes.
And he starts speaking and bowing and grinning and skinning. Okay, that sounds like...
Not exactly like that, Your Honor. I would say more...
More attention? Go ahead.
More, I'd say, not a fan of the fact that
I thought it was the opposite.
Yeah,
you said he began to pay you more attention.
Yeah.
All right, because a lot of men like to be a part of that situation.
Yeah.
Or
I know it.
They fantasize about it,
Right.
So, what's your fantasy? Oh, there are 2 women. Oh, what's your fantasy? Oh, I'd like to have some twins. Say all the way down to twins. Get out of here. You can't even get a regular girlfriend. How much you want? Threesomes hard. Y'all don't know how men talk, but that's how crazy they talk. I want you to know.
Yes, Your Honor.
Think of all the crazy stuff you hear when you're with your boys. I'm telling y'all right now, we say some crazy stuff, and all of it is lies. Me and my buddies get together. That's what we say. Well, let's go get together and drink whiskey and tell lies. we up front admit that we gonna be telling lies. So that's what I thought you were talking about.
My apologies, Your Honor.
Right. So you think he was prejudice towards your relationship?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, I hope that's not the case. I hope he's not homophobic. You homophobe?
Absolutely not.
All right. For those who don't know, homophobe is a person who has a phobia towards same-sex couples or perhaps any member of the LGBTQ plus community, and they are discriminatory toward them. You understand when you hear me say homophobe, that's what I'm asking about. Are you prejudiced toward LGBTQ plus community or not? If you are, you're homophobic. All right, now we know. So go right ahead and tell me any type of discussions, comments being made during that time, because this is, if you felt that way, it is something I want to delve into.
Yeah.
So did he make any comments that might have been untoward your relationship?
I remember when I moved in, for the first couple of days it was fine, and my girlfriend would come in and out just to visit, and they crossed paths at one point, and he asked me about her outright, and I disclosed that she was my girlfriend, and he kind of had like a disgruntled look on his face, like he was confused and almost disgusted.
Coming up on Mathis Court with Judge Mathis.
You ever catch him looking in the window?
Yes.
Oh, he's a peep freak.
Let me.
You serious? He'd be looking at you. Caught him looking in your window. You peep freak.
Sir?
I'm just asking you a question.
If you'll be in the Los Angeles area and want to bring your case to court, call 1-888-552-6878.
You're watching Mathis Court with Judge Mathis. This is Mathis Court with Judge Mathis.
Mathis Court is back with a case of Imani Gathers, who is suing Ed Lures for the return of a security deposit.
So he didn't say anything outright, but just his demeanor changed the moment that that knowledge was presented to him. And after that, like I said, he would be lurking around my unit more than anybody else. And I was trying to work up the courage to bring it up to him and have a discussion, but by the time...
Ma'am, you're confused. I'm telling you, you're confused. You confused that look for curiosity. Really? Your girlfriend? Why are you gonna keep hanging around, peeking in your windows? Why would he do that? If he was against your relationship, why would the man come around whenever you and your girlfriend were together?
That's what I like to know.
He wanted to be a part of that action, I'm telling you.
I really don't think so, Your Honor.
Just because he's an older gentleman, that ain't went away. He might not be able to do much if he was on the scene. that don't mean he might not. That don't mean he don't want to be on the scene. Sir, you give me some background on your tenant and maybe clarify what she's referring to.
Absolutely, because I think we're really headed down the really wrong road here. I've been a long time...
I'm having fun, first of all.
I understand, of course.
All right.
Of course, I understand. And in that spirit, let me make everything really clear. I've been a long-time property owner in Charlotte. It's my home, born and raised. I have never been sued as a property owner in 18 years of owning properties. And I've never, fortunately, ever had to ask anyone to leave. So I was particularly dismayed. And this one thing needs to be really clear about the idea that I was, one,
either frowning on the relationship or getting excited, either one.
Nothing could be further from the truth, because I have a brother who's married. He has a husband. He has a same-sex relationship, and they've adopted a child. That kind of relationship is close to me. So when I reacted, I thought, well, isn't that interesting? But it's none of my business, so I simply reacted, and that was it. The reason why she thinks that I am always in the way is because these townhomes are set very close to each other. So anytime she might have gone outside of her apartment, I would be there because I work in the yard. I'm retired. I work in the yard. I go for walks. So everything seemed fine. When they first moved in, I thought it was a really nice family. Her grandmother was there.
You ever catch him looking in the window?
Yes.
Oh, he's a peep freak.
Let me...
You serious? He'd be looking at you. Caught him looking in your window. You peep freak.
Sir?
I'm just asking you a question.
Your Honor,
she says
Your
she
Honor,
catch you looking in her window.
Your Honor, of course not.
Sorry, Your Honor, I'd like to reiterate.
She wants to clarify something here.
I myself did not see it. My girlfriend was the one who witnessed him tapping on the window.
Tapping on the window.
Your Honor, after about 4 or 5 days of their stay, I noticed that there was a lot of people, there seemed to be a lot of people living in that apartment. And in fact, there were 5 people, not just the 3 who were on the lease, But the girlfriend, who always seemed to be there, maybe it was just coincidence, but I saw her car. She has a distinctive car. It was out there
Yeah, she
a lot.
always there. That's her girlfriend. Isn't your girlfriend always with you?
Of course she is. And so,
But she don't want to be bothered.
Then I got a letter from one of my tenants who complained, saying that, one, there was unauthorized entry into their apartment. Somebody was crawling in through the window. I came to learn that it was her cousin who lived with them, who had keys but forgotten them. So late at night he comes home, can't get in the front door, goes in through the window. The other thing is that there's a lot of...
You said he was going in through, I thought, the neighbor's place.
Her apartment.
The neighbor told you
The
they
neighbor
saw him
told you she
going
saw
into
this.
her apartment.
That's correct.
Okay, so the neighbor's being nosy about what the
Oh.
neighbor looking too.
Yes,
The
a
neighbor's
completely
a
different
peak
matter if
freak too.
he's
You,
breaking
the
in
neighbor,
neighbors.
how many other people in there are freaks?
I don't
How
have
the neighbor see what's going on in her place?
Great question, Your Honor.
We live very close to each other, so I don't know, but the way that we're lined up, our kitchen's practically...
I lived in the projects. I didn't know what the people was doing next door to me.
I understand that,
Projects
but-
Connect.
I understand that, but after I received this letter that said there was an unauthorized person making entry into the house, there was more foot traffic, there were at least 5 people staying there, and the people who lived there were gathered out on the porch smoking. So this tenant was concerned about all of that. I walked out my door, up the walkway, and as I walked up the walkway to the front door, there's her window, and her girlfriend is standing right there. I said, oh, there she is, and I tapped. And she looked at me. And I tapped again, no response. I tapped again, and I motioned, could you go to the front door? I didn't say anything, but I said, could you go to the front door? And she looked at me quizzically.
But I'm going to look here. I'm looking here, sir, as it does say authorized residence. And you do have that. Non-residents can only stay 15 days or less.
Correct.
But she says they only stayed 2 weeks, so you never made to the 15th.
That's correct.
What was the problem with the other
problem
residents?
was that I got a letter from a tenant saying there's a problem. So I needed to go find out what exactly is going on. 5 people seem to be staying there. What's their plan? Are they going to leave? I just needed to have
It
some
wasn't
answer.
15 days yet. Why did you need to know?
Because these issues are affecting my other tenants.
What
I have
issue?
A tenant, the issue of someone coming into the house late at night, unidentified. You can imagine that you own a property and you have people going into the apartment with no keys, opening up a window, sneaking in, and someone sees that, that presents a danger to your tenants. That
But once it's clarified, I'm all right.
Yes, but
once it's clarified, I feel safe again. And they would be clarified either that night or in the morning.
Right.
If they were so concerned that night, they would have called the police.
I only wanted to ask a question and clarify it.
Coming up,
My cousin coming in late at night, he's 16, he's not all the way there, he's not going to think things through. He is notorious for forgetting his keys. He does not live with me.
You're watching Mathis Court with Judge Mathis. This is Mathis Court with Judge Mathis.
Mathis Court is back with a case of Imani Gathers, who is suing Ed Lures for the return of a security deposit.
All I want to do is clarify the situation. So when we had this encounter, nothing came of it. I walked away. I realized nothing was gonna come of this, so I walked away. 2 days later, I received a note that they want to terminate their agreement. As you know, in the lease agreement, it says clearly an early termination will result in a $600 fee. So I held on to the deposit. I charged them the fee.
Let's get to her lawsuit. You've explained your
Thank you.
countersuit. Go ahead, ma'am. Why do you think you should get the $2,000? I know that he was peeping around every time and walking up and down and watching everybody's moves. Go ahead.
Yes, so I believe that I am entitled to that deposit. First and foremost, like I stated before, I felt unwanted there, and I felt as if I was being singled out of all the other tenants. And piggybacking off of what you said about my cousin coming in late at night, he's 16, he's not all the way there, he's not going to think things through, but he works not too far from where I do, and on his commute back home, he passes by my place. So there'll be some nights where he'll come and stay the night, and he is notorious for forgetting his keys. So that explains that situation. He does not live with me. He stays with me sometimes when he doesn't want to make that long commute back home. That's it. That's all that is. And my girlfriend also doesn't live with me.
See, and the issue isn't about, as we've confirmed about the length of stay because you had 15 days to have someone. So the issue, I guess, is complaints by the other residents.
Coming up,
You should go to one of the organizations, GLAD, or one of the civil rights organizations. Go join them and then have them come and protest him or send him a letter. You're watching Mathis Court with Judge Mathis. This is Mathis Court with Judge Mathis.
Mathis Court is back with a case of Imani Gathers, who is suing Ed Lures for the return of his security deposit.
And the question I have for you is, at what point did he come to you and complain?
He didn't.
He never came to, so why did you move?
Like I said, I felt very singled out, and I felt as if my sexual orientation was an issue to him. And like I said, he would constantly be outside whenever I'd be outside.
Did you mention it to him?
No, because at first I didn't want to believe that was happening. You know, this 2023, you don't want to.
No, but moving, you can't break your lease without telling the landlord why.
Yes, Your Honor.
Or fail to pay without saying why. You can't just get up and leave, and you're saying it was because you felt discriminated against.
Yes.
Well, I got news for you. A lot of discrimination goes on in the world and in neighborhoods, and I don't think it's the best approach to pick up and move. I think you should fight against that discrimination if you believe that is the case. You should go to one of the organizations, GLAD, or one of the civil rights organizations. Go join them and then have them come and protest him or send him a letter or get involved or have him investigated for any type of discriminatory actions in the past. So those are the type of things you need to do instead of up and running, all right? Don't run when you feel you're discriminated against. Fight back. If everybody that ran when they were discriminated against, all our communities, Latinos, Jewish, the Christians, Muslims, black, white, etc., Asian, if everybody ran, we would never be with each other. You got to stand there and fight until we all agree that we're all supposed to be here together.
How will Judge Mathis rule? Find out when Mathis Court returns.
You're watching Mathis Court with Judge Mathis. This is Mathis Court with Judge Mathis. All right, and your counterclaim, what do you say to that, ma'am, in terms of breaking the lease?
I don't believe it's fair. Again, I genuinely felt as if my presence wasn't wanted there, and
Yeah,
that's
but you didn't tell him. You should have told him and gotten an explanation, or he should have said something to you to indicate that he intended to put you out at some point or made it
no intention of
inconvenient.
putting
I
her
know,
out.
sir. Be quiet. I'm about to give you your money. Then don't talk your way out of it. So I have to dismiss your claim, ma'am. You didn't have a legal right to leave. If he had, the home was in disrepair, if you felt fearful of his presence, none of that have I heard. It was you thinking you were being discriminated against. You might have been right, but you didn't stay to fight, so we don't know. And your claim is granted, sir. You are owed the monies for the fees that you assessed.
Thank you,
Have a
Your
good
Honor.
day.
All rise.
Judge Mathis has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff has been ordered to pay $1,200.
Any last words?
I don't agree. I don't agree with it at all. And you know what you did.
Justice prevails.
Follow me this way.
Thank you.
After you, miss. After you also.
This has been a production of Allen Media Group.